Hello, everybody. And this week we are having some issues again. So let me try to bring in Ajay Bhai. I think we are able to stream live now. And okay, so stay on the line. I'm going to invite Ajay Shah, and we should be able to go forward from here. So just stay on the line here.
I'm in in the studio. I'm going live. Oh, it's live.
We are live, Ajay Bhai, and
All right.
so welcome back. And finally, we are able to see our audience.
As luck would have it, it's so that 99 episodes and we are where we started, huh?
Exactly.
Uh, it never ceases to amaze me. It's again, it was we will be contacting our hosting partners to figure out what's going on here, because so that this is unusual because we have this is the second time that we have seen this issue, and we will now be taking it up with them. So well, thank you everyone for joining. Or people who are going to watch recorded, because I know that a lot of people watch this show when it's recorded and released. But this is Hindu Lounge. Hindu Lounge is brought to you by HinduPACT, and HinduPACT is the Policy Research and Advocacy Initiative of World Hindu Council of America, VHPA, and it's hosted by Utsav Chakravarti. Utsav is the executive director of HinduPACT, and I am Ajay Shah. I am the president of World Hindu Council of America, or VHPA. We come live every Sunday at 11 o'clock Eastern, and we talk about contemporary American Hindu issues. So here we are today in our episode number 99, and I want to kind of, because we didn't show the inaugural slide. Let me just show that to everyone so everyone knows what we're talking about today. So that today we are going to talk about value-based politics, the Hindu way. Now, this happens to be the Gala theme that is happening. Gala of HinduPACT Gala. For those who don't know, the Gala is coming up next Saturday on May 1st, and sorry, it's Sunday, right? So the Sunday, May 1st, and it's between 4 and 6 p.m. on Sunday, May 1st, 4 and 6 p.m., with some marquee guests that Utsauda will be talking about. But what we are trying to talk about, the theme of the gala is values, equality, diversity, the Hindu way. So basically, it's how do you do politics the Hindu way? And that is the theme of the gala. And so that we are also going to talk about Representative Ilhan Omar's visit to India. You know that last week she was in India. She, I don't know how she went there. She didn't really get a visa, but she was there.
She
With
was
that, Utsada, welcome to Hindu Lounge, and it's all yours. Please go for it.
So Ajay bhai, I'm just checking with our Facebook page, and I would request you also check. I don't know if I see it. I just want to get a confirmation from all our audience that they can see us on Facebook. Uh, I don't see them see the page being visible. Uh, but having said that, do you see Ajay bhai? Do you see our broadcast
It's
on
yeah.
Facebook?
I'll check. Please keep going,
Okay.
and I'll check in the
Okay.
meantime.
So the interesting thing is that this week we are discussing about something that is very important for America. Uh, this is a topic that is the gala topic that we have for this weekend on Sunday, which is going to be our annual fundraiser. Uh, addresses an issue that is probably going to be a matter of survival for America in the coming decades, and that is what are the values based on which we run our democracy. And this we over the last year we have been approached several times by different support groups, by a diversity of organizations that have worked with us, that have observed us, and different people came up with different ideas, uh, how we could do this and how we could address this issue. But when we looked at all the things that people were talking about, at the end of the day, it all came down to one single thing. But then that is, what are the values on which American democracy works, and how do we redefine them? Because Most people we spoke to, most people we interacted with, uh, didn't like the way our society, our polity was heading. And that's been a recurrent trend over the last many election cycles. And in the last 2 years, as HinduPACT has been gaining strength, we figured that it is time that we address this at some point of time. So, Java, if you go to slide number 4, uh, we boiled it down to the following, and that is, and again, this is something that is an evolving process, so people can chime in, call us, and give your thoughts. We are very open to your ideas and what you think about it, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people will have opinion on this. And in a nutshell, we figured out that we have to figure out a way in which identity politics in America transcends superficial identities. And when we say superficial identities, we say, just to give you an example, uh, it should not become a function of the shade of your skin color. It should not. And ironically, that is exactly where it is right now. So, we believe that in a diverse society like the United States, the whole idea of identity politics is inevitable. It's a outcome of grassroots level activism, which is something that is needed in societies which are democratic in nature. So you cannot avoid identity politics. But the challenge that we face today is, again, we paraphrase MLK, is to how best not run it by the color of our skin, but move it by the content of our character. And that is probably something that jives right in a way into the identity, into how Hindu dharma looked at politics, and
So
how Hindu values influence politics around the world. Ajay bhai, would you like to talk about that?
no, I want to ask you a question about the identity politics itself. So that, I mean, you talked about color of the skin and all of that, and the irony. And I'll get into the Hindu values and Hindu-based politics and all that in a minute. But I want to ask you a question.
Mhm.
Isn't this it's somewhat ironic that on one hand we are saying that we are a advocacy group that advocates on public policy and other issues based on faith, and then on the other hand we are saying, and then faith becomes our identity, and then on the other hand we are saying that, oh, we should be looking at the content of the character and not look at the identity politics, even though identity
No, no,
politics
no, no. Not
uh,
look at the color of our skin. Not.
well, we have to look at the character and not the color of the skin or any of the identity, silo that people may break us into or put us into. So it is somewhat ironic, right? So that, I mean, it's
No,
somewhat.
it is not ironic,
So
because
why would a, for example, a Jewish group, a Christian group, a Islamic group also not say the same thing, that let's do the politics the Jewish way, Islamic way, Christian way, Mormon way, and then that itself now becomes the epitome of identity politics, right? So
no, no, no. So
aren't
here
you
is the
falling in
point.
your no, no, let me ask the question. The question
Yeah.
is, aren't you falling in your own trap?
No, we are not, because we
Yeah.
are already saying that there is going to be an inevitability in addressing identity politics. There is going to be identity politics. There is no
Okay.
doubt about that. So
Okay.
we are not saying that you can run away from identity politics, because in a diverse society like America, where there is space for diversity at the grassroots level, which is unique, and which is extremely well valued in America. One of the unique features of a Western democracy like America, having it. So you cannot escape identity politics. What we are saying is that, and again, when you quoted our statement, you moved away from the color of the skin and you said, identity politics, and used the word. That's where you made the mistake, because we are saying identity politics is inevitable. What derives and defines the identity politics is the challenge that we are bringing forward, and that is the conversation we are trying to have. So if you have identity politics based on what you have no control over, okay, you have no control over whether you are from Botswana, or whether your ancestry is from Sweden. You have no control over that, but you have certainly got a control over whether you believe that somebody who is of a different gender deserves to have same rights as you, or deserves to be put in a tent and hidden away somewhere. That is in your hands. That is not defined where whether your ancestors came from Botswana or whether your ancestors came from Sweden. So that is the part of identity where your intellect and your thought process defines your identity, and then from there we can have a conversation. So I have no issues having a debate on identity politics based on whether it is Jewish identity politics or whether it is Islamic identity politics or whether it is Hindu identity, because it still opens you up to different ideas. My problem is when you say your identity is defined by, oh, you are a South Asian, and now you have absolutely no control over what happened to you 50 years ago or where your people came from 50 years ago. You can certainly challenge that in your values, but then you are put into a pigeonhole and you are expected to operate in a certain way, and it is further complicated, and actually it's further devalued when somebody says you basically can only do politics as a brown person, whatever that means. So
Yeah,
that is the challenge that we are bringing
I
forward.
don't know if also I don't know if I agree with you, because let me ask you the question the other way around. I mean, I think the if I were to pick a place where identity politics has been taken to a art form, is actually in India, with all the all the arithmetic that goes into even selecting a candidate for a political party to the voting. And it is so fine grained, so that it's a data scientist's dream come true to predict who should be running for election, who will vote for who, how many votes they will get, based on all kinds of parameters. I'm sure there are like there are hundreds of parameters that go into determining all of this, and that is because the you may start out as an idealist, and you may say that this is what this is the you nicely articulated your ideals, right? But once the politicians kind of get in and they start doing their magic, or the lack thereof, they start trying to gain start throwing freebies and other things, and start gaining advocating for votes on behalf of these narrow interests, and that is to the detriment of a country generally. So how do you put up a theme like this and expect people, maybe 10 years from now, or even today, not abuse this and pigeonhole themselves into and getting more and more votes based on their religion or based on their ethnicity or race or whatever, right?
Again, as you were just defining your question, you just broad based your entire conversation by using three different terms that have completely three different meanings as a voter identity. You just said religion. That is a function of somebody's belief, a faith, something that is intangible in terms of its face value,
Mhm.
literally.
Yep.
Then you immediately use the word ethnicity and skin color, or ethnicity and race. Now, the latter two are a function of something that you have absolutely no control over. That's something that your ancestors carried and their ancestors carry, and now you're suddenly bringing together two different set of ideas. One is fungible, one is changeable, one can be influenced with better ideas, better solutions, better thought processes, and the other is frozen in time. Now suddenly you, if you make both of them the same criteria of politics, then you will degrade the politics, and that has happened in India in many ways. You are absolutely right. In India, for a long period of time, and even today, you literally had to put up a candidate belonging to a certain jati or a certain community or a certain linguistic group in a certain area. You were right. Data scientist's night, dream actually, and that's what Prashant Kishore, people like Prashant Kishore did for a long period of time and continue to do it. But that is being challenged in India, and that's why it is also important, Ajay, for us to understand that when we say Hindu, to understand politics and improve value based politics in America, and we are talking about the Hindu way, we are not talking about the Indian way. It's a very
Yeah.
clear distinction.
Yeah, absolutely,
Hindu way
absolutely.
based on a set of values, a set of
Yeah.
ideas,
Yeah.
probably a set of historical precedences also that we
Mhm.
can look at.
Yeah.
The Indian way is actually quite the Western way, which has morphed and devalued itself into a much worse system in some places. But that is also is in a process of flux. I mean, I don't know how much you follow, and we are not going to discuss in detail
No, no,
about
no.
this.
We don't discuss Indian politics here. But what I'm
In
trying
many
to say is
ways,
that any
India,
democracy usually devolves into this state of interest-based politics. That is
and it
just
also evolved
inevitable.
from there. If you look at the elections in Uttar Pradesh as of today, as of last month, you will see that people have actually moved out of that jati and other identity based agendas, and they have actually moved into a place where real economic benefits, real social benefits, social and economic upward mobility, safety, food security, these have become important factors. So it's a constant process, but I will leave India away because this is not about talking about Indian politics. The Hindu way of politics, value based politics, is not the Indian way of value based politics. Let us be clear about that. It's based on ideals and examples, historical precedences that overcome the idea of identities that cannot be changed. It's based on ideas. So that's where our conversation is. It's different from comparing it to any particular country or a region.
Yeah, I'm, one thing to note, and I don't disagree with you. One thing to note is that one statement that you made, that belief system can change and all that, but also the reality. Almost 70-80% of the people probably live and die in the faith that they were born in. So changing of faith is not as common as one would think. So and
No, no, no.
a lot of the
But again,
beliefs are built by the faith.
changing of values, changing of ideas, influencing of ideas. I mean, I can show you a million Americans out there who at the age of 18 thought a certain way, and by the time they are 40, think in a this certain another way, and by the time they're 60, think in a certain third way. So the process is to involve people in ideas that can be evolving in, and
Right.
that can be addressing issues and context that are relevant to their lives, and not rooted in how they look or where their parents came from. That's the whole idea, and that's, I think, where we are trying to take this conversation to. And interestingly, if you show back the PowerPoint, when we chose this topic, we did not know where we will find congruence. And one of the congruences that we found with our keynote speaker, uh, and you know Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be our keynote speaker for this event. Without us actually planning it, we ended up almost on a similar talking point that he has already written about, and that's a very funny thing that happened. So we'll talk about Vivek Ramaswamy and his
Yeah.
background.
So that let me uh, give you a proposition and see how it resonates with you. Um, you know, I think that one of the reasons why we can, unlike other people, we who follow the Hindu faith, the dharma in Hindu dharma in one way or the other, can confidently talk about this without making this into a silo, is because a participative democracy is not a new concept for us. A value of inclusion is not a new concept for us, right? Freedom and spirituality have always gone hand in hand for Hindus. So the if you look at the way Hindu dharma is, uh, for thousands of years, one of the things that Hindu dharma has offered to the world is freedom in spirituality, and that is not a very common theme among religions. What I mean by that is, you can have you can be under a big tent umbrella of Hindu dharma. You can even and you can follow any deity you want. You can follow any scripture you want, or not follow any scripture. You can believe in God, or you may not. You can be somewhat agnostic, or you may not believe in God. You may believe in Vedas, or you may reject Vedas. The foundational book of Hindu dharma, the Vedas. You may actually believe in them, or you may reject them, and you are still a Hindu. That is the degree of freedom that no other faith that I know of offers. Any mode of worship, any belief we want, And that freedom leads us to the pluralism that is built in, inherent to all the Hindus. That freedom, that pluralism, acceptance of everyone actually extended to politics, right? If you look at even in the earliest days of Indian history, in the Vedas, which are supposedly about 7,000 years old, 5 to 7,000 years old, right? Even in the Vedas, there's a mention of Sabha and Samiti. Samiti. Sabha is assembly, okay, people assembling together, and Samiti is committee. Why are they getting together? To make the decisions that impact them in their day to day lives. And that is what Hindu Dharma offered during the days of Vedas. It was not a dictatorship of one king that ruled. In fact, even a king had to listen to the praja or the populace, right? That is, if Sri Ram, Bhagwan Sri Ram, as a king of Ayodhya, set that example that the king cannot be an absolute ruler, and that those are the elements of democracy that always existed in India. So this the idea that pluralism is important uh, has been inherent in India. And if you look at the Ganatantra, people ruled state, and another word for democracy, has existed in Sanskrit for a very long time. I think that also that gives us, and of course, we also have to be careful that we don't degrade the politics into only our narrow interest. We have to be true to the Hindu philosophy, the Hindu ethos, and say, yeah, we are Hindus, but we are much more inclusive, and we want the democracy to be more inclusive, right? And so, your thoughts?
No, you're absolutely right, Ajay bhai, and this is something that if it's not a perfect process, but this is something that we have to constantly strive for. And historically, I think we have done made an effort in that direction. But in American politics, it's important now more than ever before than to talk about it. So I believe what you just defined is very important for our own people to understand first, and then we can share it with the rest of the community. You there,
So
Ajay bhai?
that continue on the theme of the please continue on expand a bit more about some of the speakers that are going to be at the gala.
Yes. So let's talk about Vivek Ramaswamy. So Vivek Ramaswamy, if you can move the slide, Ajay bhai. Yeah, thank you. So I don't know if you can people can see this, but Vivek has actually written a significant amount on the topic of identity politics, and he is in the recent past he has done a wonderful job writing about how corporate America has fallen victim to identity based advocacy. And when I say identity, I mean identity that is inevitably linked to skin color or ethnicity, and that has nothing to do with values. So his book Woke Inc. Actually has talks about that. And then he has written a new book which is coming out soon, and that is The Nation of Victims: Identity Politics, the Death of Merit, and the Path Back to Excellence. And this is almost like a second part to Woking. And we didn't know that he had done these works when we chose our topic. But once we found the congruency between what Vivek has been talking about and what our effort was, we tried to jive with his thought process, and therefore we decided that we'll invite Vivek as the as the keynote speaker for our event on May 1. So that actually is very interesting, and I hope that everybody who is listening to this show will join us on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So other speakers, Ajay bhai, if you go to the next one. So we have two other speakers that are going to be talking about besides Ajay bhai himself. Uh, One is going to be Bob Lancia. Bob Lancia is formerly he's a candidate who ran for House District 16 in Rhode Island. He's a chaplain. He's a Christian, practicing Christian. He's running again. He's going to the primaries in 2022, and he has been an educator and a public servant. And the reason we are picking Bob Lancia as one of the speakers is because, again, as somebody with a Christian chaplain background, there is place where we can have a conversation of how values values impact politics. And again, as we said, it doesn't have to be only Hindu values. We are going to be talking primarily about Hindu values, but we can always invite opinion and thoughts from different multi-faith individuals who also believe that there has to be a value-based politics in American democracy. So Bob Lancia, Robert Lancia, is going to be another of the speakers, and then we will have Zainab Zeb Khan. So Zainab is also a chairperson of she's of Muslim faith, and she's the chairperson of the Muslim American Leadership Alliance, or MALA. It's a 501(c)(3), and she has been at the foreground of interfaith activity. She has worked with different people of different backgrounds and creed, and she supports freedom of expression, gender equality, and pluralism as universal ideals. And these are some of the values that we want to promote in American politics. So she's going to be one of our speakers, and she also has a lot of experience interacting with the Library of Congress and NPR, and so she will bring a lot of value to the perspectives that we are going to be presenting. And finally, we'll have Ajay Shah. Ajay bhai, if you go to the next slide, we'll have you
Yeah,
as the.
we don't need to. I mean, I'm here. People see me every week, so that speaker we can skip.
Uh, no, but it's important. You did give your thoughts, so we won't
I
discuss
already,
them.
yeah, I think so that we, in all humility, we should probably skip that one. But please tell us of the agenda.
So the event will be actually close to it, 1.5 hours, almost 2 hours. As when we start, we have some music. We have Anjali Swamiji, who is
Yeah,
a
can you
very.
please tell us about Anjali Swamiji, because she is not only is she singing, but she is very accomplished. She has her own show on Bharat FM, and we went to her show once. So um, yeah, go ahead.
So Anjali Swamiji is our chapter coordinator and lead from Arizona. Uh, she's a professional. She works in the government. I won't go into the details because I don't want to talk about her job. Uh, but she's a very accomplished singer and a host. So we have been on her show on Bharat FM, and she's going to be doing 3 songs with us, and including Durga Stuti, which would kick off the program on Sunday. So she's going to be you know it's 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 these things that bring the program together, and so Anjali ji would be a key glue that's going to keep the event on Sunday together. So that's going to be her background.
And
Yeah.
go ahead.
So it's going to on Sunday we're going to start at 4 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have your speech, Ajay bhai, starting, and then we'll show a video which will show the accomplishments of what HinduPACT has done over the last 1 year. Uh, so it's going to be about an 8-minute video that shows what we have done, what the projects we have taken up, what we have delivered, and what it's going to be an overall overview of the things we have done. And then we will have Vivek's speech. Again, the host of the show is Adele Nazarian. Adele is an asset to the HinduPACT and the Hindu community in general. She is a journalist and maintains deep relationship with a lot of Washington D.C. Thought leaders. So Adele is going to be a host of the show. Then we'll have speeches by Vivek. We'll have speeches by Bob Lancia, and then after that, Deepti will be present. Deepti Mahajan, who is also one of our key supporters and coordinators from California, she's going to be giving an overview of what we plan to do over the next year. So it's going to be a 1-year future view proposal. So outlook, future outlook, what our projects are that we intend to do, how we intend to do it. So that's going to be the next theme followed by again a song by Anjali ji, which would be followed by Zainab's speech, and then we will have Vandana ji. Vandana ji is our graphics and outreach coordinator, director for graphics and outreach, and she is an asset to our community, and she works very hard. If you see our videos, most of the videos are prepared by her, most of the infographics are prepared by her. She's a very talented singer, so she will be the one concluding with a song. And then of course we'll have question answer session, we have interaction and a lot of chance for people to ask questions and discuss with us. So that's going to be a program in nutshell. I think everybody will enjoy it. Please do come for the speeches and not just for the entertainment, because I promise you the speeches will be equally good and thought provoking.
Absolutely. So I'm very much kind of looking forward to this, because I think this is I a lot of I know how much effort has gone into planning of this event, and I think this is people will come out feeling really good about this. I've seen our keynote speaker on Bill Maher show, and he was absolutely fantastic on the Bill Maher show. The clips on the YouTube, and I think everyone who is interested should look it up. So that Indrani ji did ask, how does one register for the gala? So I have posted the link on the chat. It is somewhat unfortunate that right now this event is being broadcast only on YouTube, and we'll have to rerun the event after uploading the video on Facebook at a later time. So that any final thoughts on this before we kind of move on?
No, I think yeah. Our apologies to our guests, because I can see that some people are watching, but it's only on YouTube today. The Facebook live event has somehow not showed up, so we're really sorry. A lot of people probably are trying to see where we
Yeah,
are, but
especially today, because you know that, so that we have the VHPA governing council meeting going on, and yesterday every governing council member kind of said that they are going to post on their social media pages and others that this event is ongoing. So I was expecting a lot more people to actually tune into the show today, but they have not. So they cannot, because and we have the people at Restream actually looking into the problem. It is so and they're trying to figure out what went wrong. So I did, while we were doing the show, I did reach out to them and I said, hey, there seems to be some problem here, and they are actually, as we speak, they are looking into it. But for us it's probably come a little too late. So we will run this and the last week's show, so that also we had committed to cleaning it up and rebroadcasting. So we'll be rebroadcasting both of these shows in a much more clean and coherent way on all our social media channels. So please stay tuned for that as well. With that, also, I'm particularly looking forward to this particular event. I think, but we have a other goal also, right? What is the other goal, Utsada?
we have to raise funds,
Oh,
and I shouldn't be I shouldn't be not I should not be not mentioning Renuji and all the other people who have worked very hard for the gala. So uh, before we move on to another topic, I just want to say that
Utsada,
Renu,
you have to, as what is the goal for the fundraising?
it's $300,000.
Yes, sir.
That's the goal for the fundraising. Most organizations that are doing the work that HinduPACT does and has been doing over the last year, usually they have a $1 million budget. But we just started with HinduPACT last year. Our goal was to raise $150,000. This year, our goal is to raise $300,000. And I promise you, once you see the work we have done in the last year, uh, which we will be showing in our video in the beginning of the gala, uh, I'm pretty sure that you will understand why we need 300,000 and more. So please think about it. But I also want to mention the names of the people who are working very hard to make this happen, to make HinduPACT a success, and that is people who are in different grassroots level, because there are a lot of advocacy organizations that work as a national think tank organization with two or three people doing all the thinking and the posting and the Twitter and social media outreach campaigns, but they don't have a grassroots presence. So the one thing that is unique about HinduPACT, and that's because we have the VHPA and so many other organizations that are identifying themselves with the things we are doing. that we have grassroots level, and that primarily the credit goes to people like Renu Gupta ji, Sridhar Nair ji, Vandana ji, Anjali ji, and a host of other people, Deepti in California, and a lot of people. I'm probably missing out half the people, but just to mention a few names.
So that it's a team effort, and I must also say that you've done a lot of grassroots level work to bring up Hindu Pact. Without you, we would probably not have Hindu Pact. So I want to mention that Hindu Pact at this time, and this we are already kind of transitioned to the Hindu Seva Charity Act of the week, because we are going to recommend that please donate to Hindu Pact for this week. We have 4 part-time people now who are working for Hindu Pact, and our goal is to make all 4 of them full time, and that is going to take a lot more than $300,000. But if we can gradually ramp up to that, that is our we hope that within a year we can have all these 4 people who are currently part time with Hindu Pact can become full time. And that is just scratching the surface. If we look at equivalent organizations, equivalent advocacy organizations, they have a staff of several dozen, and we are talking about 4 part-time people with all the extraordinary challenges that Hindus in America face. This is a very very small amount to do a professional advocacy. um, and uh, we hope that you like what you see from Hindu Pact. We have taken stands that a lot of other people have shied away from taking, and you know if you want to see this kind of advocacy to succeed in America, please do contribute and ask your friends to contribute as well. With that, Hindu Seva Charity Act of the week. Let's move on to the other topic, so that we just kind of fell into our laps. So tell us about our favorite representative from Minnesota, Representative Ilhan Omar. I heard that she visited India. Um, how did she
Yes.
make it there? How did she go to India?
So I think you should show the map, Ajay bhai. You should show the photograph in the.
Oh, sure. Yeah, here we go. Here's the photograph. So that
Yes.
Ilhan Omar, Representative Ilhan Omar, visiting India.
So Ilhan Omar, you know, famous, infamous, however you want to call it. She was in India last week, and the reason she was in India is because she made it a point during her visit to Pakistan to cross the border and go into the part of India that is illegally occupied by Pakistan and stand there and do a photo op. As you can see in this photograph, the place where she's standing is Pakistan occupied Kashmir. The flag that you see to her right is the flag of the uh, Kashmir Muslim League, which is the parent organization of a bunch of terrorist organizations that are actually considered terrorist organization in America and by the United Nations, like Lashkar-e-Toiba and Hizbul Mujahideen. And she is standing on a piece of land which is Indian land occupied by Pakistan. And she made it a point to do so because I believe that she wanted to undermine, and this is very important for us to understand. I think she wanted to undermine the State Department and Secretary of State Tony Blinken's uh, outreach to India in the recent past. And I think it was an effort to provoke some sort of a diplomatic response from India.
Eh,
So I genuinely believe there is a section within the Democratic Party, probably led by Ilhan Omar, that is trying to undermine the growing US-India partnership in the Indian Ocean region. And I think it was a calculated provocation that was aimed at undermining Secretary Blinken as well as the State Department. And I say this because after she went there, the State Department spokesperson Ned Price actually came out with a statement on Friday, uh, day before yesterday, that Ilhan Omar's visit was actually privately funded and had nothing to do with US government sponsored travel. I think it's a flimsy excuse that the State Department came up to save its face. Uh, but it also highlights the point that she and her small group of supporters within the Democratic Party are doing everything they can to sabotage India-US relations.
So that's one way to look at it. I look at this picture, and I look at this picture, and it almost seems like, you know, uh, she has been separated from the land that she's longing to go, and I have a feeling that she really uh, wants to escape Pakistan through that gate and be in India, because she had enough of Pakistan, and she just wants to be part of India, and adopt the Hindu ethos and Hindu way of living, and she's just trying to just escape these gates that are holding her back. I mean, like, you can see from the picture how longingly she is looking at India and saying, "Please, please come and rescue me and take me to the other side." That's another way to look at it. So I don't know why you're looking at it all negative here.
Sure, if you want to look at it that way.
So come on, you are not extending a open arm, to Representative Omar. I mean, what do why?
I think she should join a meditation course at the Shankaracharya temple on the Shankaracharya hill in Srinagar. That's
I think that's such a. I mean, that's one goal, but I think the goal should be that she should join. You know, she should join the Sevika Samiti in US and start advocating for us, and we will make sure that she crosses this river, and she is welcome over there.
sure, if you say so,
So
Ajay.
you sound very skeptical. I don't know why. And
I mean, what can I say?
please, I all I'm saying is, please, please. Here is what. See, look. I mean, we are getting comments on this. Here is Amitabh ji. She is looking at Jannat from Jannum. I don't know what that means, but okay. So that, want to elaborate on that?
Well, Jannat is heaven,
Yes.
and Jahannam is hell. So uh, she's what Amitabh ji is saying is that she's standing in Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, which most likely he points to being hell, and wants to be in Kashmir, which is a lot of people may know it's called heaven on earth. So yeah, so she literally is looking towards heaven on earth.
So that's one vote for me. So let's see what the other comments are here. See, you take two things too seriously when and sometimes, so that as intellectual you are, you sometimes miss the point, because these are like, these are the subtle points, that signals that some politicians give out, and you intellectualize the whole thing. But look at it. I mean, she wants to be in India. She wants to be a Hindu. Here's
She's
what.
most welcome. As I said, I mean, that's the theme of our. This is where we want to be. We
So,
want to take people away from color-based politics to value-based
so
politics.
I think we should send her a coconut and some sindoor and all that, and just welcome her. I think that should be our response, Sada. Instead of criticizing her and putting out tweets like some people do, why don't we send her a coconut and some red sindoor, which is the red the powder. There's an English word for it, vermilion. Why don't we send that to her and say welcome to India and welcome to Hindu Dharma?
Sure. I mean, we should have done that at Muzaffarabad in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. You should have sent. You should have sent somebody from here with a thali and do arti on her when she landed in Muzaffarabad.
Here is a vote, I think, for you, because Indrani ji is saying that I had too much water to drink. So Indrani ji, because I control the music, I get to play what I like to play. So this is the music for Indrani ji. All right. So that, and then we have comments from Tyagi ji, and he says, um, yes, at some point, Tyagi ji, right now we are encouraging everyone to sign up. We just posted a link here on the stream, so please sign up. We may decide or not to maybe have it on YouTube or Facebook Live. And Indrani ji like the music, so I guess, so see you, so that it goes both ways. Okay, so all right, with that, any final comments on on this topic, so that otherwise we can move
No,
on to the
I
next
have a
one.
final comment, and my comment is that we appeal to the Prime Minister of India that given what was seen because of Ilhan Omar's visit, it is important. It is very, very important that the Prime Minister of India address the situation of Pakistani occupation of Jammu and Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. And it is important that the Gilgit-Baltistan region of India, which is currently occupied by Pakistan, a little bit by China, the effort should be to integrate it with the Union Territory of Ladakh in India, and the effort should be to integrate the land on which Ilhan Omar was standing on to be integrated with Jammu and Kashmir, Indian, with the entire India, rest of India, as is Jammu and Kashmir is with.
Yeah,
So
so that
this is very important, and we appeal to the Prime Minister of India to work towards that, and we appeal to America so that they don't feel embarrassed in future by addressing this issue and making sure that the entire Jammu and Kashmir, including the part that is with Pakistan, becomes one with India.
So that can you tell us? We are preparing an open letter to the Prime Minister of India on Kashmir, right? And we are not prepared to share it right now because of we don't have enough time. We have a, we have to move on to other things. But what is the overall theme of the letter that
That is
Hindu
the theme
Pact
of
is
the letter.
preparing?
We want to make sure that people like Ilhan Omar do not cause any more embarrassments, and that's why it is important to integrate entire Jammu and Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan into India. And we want him to work, Prime Minister of India, to work towards that. We also want to make sure that he works towards creating safe spaces within Jammu and Kashmir for those Hindus and people of other religions, Sikhs, who faced violence at the hands of Pakistan-sponsored jihad from 1989 onwards, so that they can return back to their homeland in Kashmir and find space and safety in those safe spaces. So that's why it's important to reorganize some of the regions within Kashmir. And additionally, we want to make sure that the Prime Minister of India addresses the legal aspect of those who committed crimes against humanity during the 1989 to almost 2004 period, when a lot of terrorists who admitted to killing innocent people in Jammu and Kashmir were not brought to justice. So they need to face the justice, and they need to see jail time or whatever is needed to address the crimes that they had committed. So it's important that all these things are addressed going forward, because I think Prime Minister Modi and the current government in India has done a fantastic job in taking a step-by-step process in bringing normalcy to Kashmir, and also in making sure that the entire region is safer and the entire region faces less terrorism. So I think this is going to be some of the things we'll be talking about in our letter.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I think one thing we should kind of make clear is that we do recognize the great strides that have been made since 2014, since the current government came into power. The decisions they made were not trivial. Uh, Hindus and other Indians, not just Hindus, all patriotic Indians waited for since 19 since almost 1950, when the original Article 370 was passed in 1954, I think, if I remember correctly, or somewhere about there, right thereabouts. Since then, most people who were patriotic Indians knew that that was a wrong decision, and they wanted that to be removed, abrogated, and eventually it was in 2000, what, 2017, right, or 2018. It took that long. No, it is not a trivial achievement. In face of terrorism, in face of all the negativity that is foreign sponsored, uh, the NGOs and all the other ones, from all the way from terrorists to the NGOs that are working against India. In face of all that, the current government still took a strong stand, removed Article 370, removed Article 35A, which granted special status and almost shielded those who were in many ways, part of the terrorist ecosystem. And we absolutely, what we want is now the next step. And that is not to say that the what has been achieved in last 3-4 years is is any by any means insignificant. Right? Right? So
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And you know, the thing is that our letter is aimed at ensuring that we maintain the momentum of the changes, and we maintain the desired goal in mind with that momentum. That's the only objective of the letter.
yeah, and we want, I mean, this is just one issue. We want the current government has to, gradually dismantle the entire anti-Bharat and anti-Hindu ecosystem that has been set up, and that extends from academics to urban Naxalite movement to the real terrorist movement to the real militancy movements in the Northeast to the mass conversion movement to the pelting of stones when someone utters Jai Shri Ram. This entire ecosystem has to be dismantled. And that dismantling of this anti Hindu ecosystem is not trivial, and it will need some time. It needs systematic approach, and maybe we should do a special show at some point, because we don't want to be too India centric, but we should do a show on American NGOs and what they're doing in uh, in India to impact Hindus. And so we can focus on American NGOs, and that would be one of the nice future shows. It will require a lot of research, Utsoda, so we'll have to, because we don't do any show without research. So it will require a lot of research. All right, Utsada, we come to the end of this segment, and we have some good news of the week, Utsada. I want to, uh, you know, uh, I think Mahendra Bhai has a comment here. Absolutely, Mahendra Bhai. Utsada, I want to bring to you the Hindu good news of the week. And you know that the Swaminarayan Mandir, the BAPS movement, has been has going through a lot of attacks, especially in America. Right? There was it started with the way the Swaminarayan Mandir here in New Jersey in Robbinsville is being built and by who it is built, and we have always said that this is just we uh, you know we don't want to comment on the legal aspect of the case, but at the same time we do know people in the BAPS. We have worked with them for many, many, many years, and we want to say that, look, we don't see any strait in BAPS that would be discriminatory. We have always seen them welcome everyone, and we have always seen them treat everyone with respect, without regards to any division of any kind in the society, whether it's race, religion, varna, jati, whatever it is, ethnicity, disability. In fact, they even conducted a same-sex marriage. So that kind of organization, the attack on that organization has to have uh, roots that are more political than real. And here is, it was gratifying that last week, when the Prime Minister of UK was visiting India, he actually went to Gujarat and went to the Swaminarayan BAPS Mandir. And here is a this is a comment from Mahendra Bhai about about Ilhan Omar. So I'm going to just hide it for a second. But here is what it is. So that here is Prime Minister of UK, Prime Minister Boris Johnson, visiting the Swaminarayan Mandir. So that
Ajay, I think you are right now. You are drinking the stash of
no.
vodka that
I,
Boris Yeltsin left for you in
I'm
1990.
inspired by our president. Okay, I follow the corridors of power. If the president can get a pass on all the things he says, I should get a couple of passes from you. Come on. See, so that
Today's
this is
today's show would have been incomplete if Ajay Bhai had not called Boris Johnson as Boris Yeltsin.
okay. So that okay. You do. I have never heard you make any comments when our president Biden, makes a statement a day that makes us smile. And I never heard you make comments
I
when
love how you say it. I love
I,
how you say makes a statement a day that makes us smile. It's a
I,
very good euphemism of. I think Democratic Party, talking heads should learn from you on how to spin president's gaffes and,
Usada,
and
I
mispronunciations.
did not even hear you. I did not even hear your comments when one of the presidential candidates in America said there are 57 states in America. Not just you didn't make a comment, but neither did any major newspaper. I didn't hear any comedian make a nighttime host make a joke about it. It was just like, okay, people have people say things sometimes. So people say things sometimes. Come on, but
So
Utsada,
in your defense, Ajay Bhai, in your defense, Boris Johnson in that picture at the
yeah,
Swaminarayan Mandir does look like Boris Yeltsin.
yeah, there you go.
Okay, he does look like Boris Yeltsin. The blonde hair is there. His eyes need to be a little bit more puffy, and he needed to have a bottle of vodka in his hand, and then he would have just looked like Boris Yeltsin.
So that I by just saying that you extended your executive directorship of HinduPACT by another decade.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So here are some comments I just want to play, and whatever your mails, yeah, that's another show in Raniji. We should talk about that. Um, and well, okay. So this is very engaging conversation. So I'm gonna next time for Indrani ji and Tyagi ji and Amitabh ji, we do post a link. This time we didn't today, but we generally post a link where you guys can just click on a link and join the show and contribute to the show. So you don't have to be just the text. You can actually be part of the show, and we would love to have you. Just dial in, because this is supposed to be a talk show and we want to be interactive. Hey, so that is with that brings us to the final segment of the show, our favorite, and that is the Hindu phobe of the week. And Sada, who's the Hindu phobe of the week?
Ajay Bhai, this time you pick the Hindu phobe, so please go ahead.
Yeah, but you speak so well, Sada.
No, 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 no. You go ahead, please.
Hey, Utsada, the Hindu phobe of the week is, so there's this mandir in Rajasthan. It was a mandir. It's the in the Alwar region of Rajasthan. It's a 300-year-old Shiva mandir. Okay, okay, please think about this. It's a 300-year-old Shiva mandir, and it was demolished. A bulldozer went in and just demolished the mandir. Okay, so why was the mandir demolished, Utsada? The official reason given for the demolition of mandir was that mandir was illegally built and it was encroaching the land that actually belonged to the government. Okay, so a 300-year-old mandir encroaching the land that is owned municipal owned. How much sense does that make? And why would you do this with uh, absolutely no repercussions? Because Hindus are just taken for granted, right? This is the Hindu hate of the week act, where a mandir gets demolished, a 300-year-old heritage of Hindus just gone.
And especially in India, 300-year old is still considered recent history. In America, something 300-year old would be a national heritage monument, because that's how history is in America.
But I mean, no. So first of all, what a flimsy excuse. That's encroachment. Which government existed 300 years ago?
That's the challenge. That's the challenge, because this essentially feeds into a larger discourse in India, where you know this whole idea of encroachment is a stick to beat political rivals with. And I think that's why to do this at a temple would be really unfortunate.
Yeah, and so that's very unfortunate that these incidents happen. What if this was a mosque? What if it was a church? How would it have gone? What would the international human rights group say? Next week, USCIRF is bringing out a report. What would they write about this incident?
Since it's a temple, the USCIRF will not write anything about it. But if it was a mosque or a church, you would be hearing congressional briefings this week on that issue. Trust me.
Yep. All right, so that with that, we come to an end to today's program. Any final parting thoughts for Hindu Night, for the Hindu Pack Gala? Please, again, a reminder: May 1st. We have already posted a link for everyone to go and register for the event. It's on May 1st. It's on Sunday. It's between 4 and 6 Eastern time, with special guests including Vivek Ramaswamy and a great entertainment program. So that uh, we really hope to see everyone there. We really hope everyone goes and donates on HinduPACT page. HinduPACT page is HinduPACT HinduPACT.org, HinduPACT.org. There's a red color donate icon on the top right hand side of the page. Please click on that and contribute. You can set up a recurring contribution of even $5 a month, or whatever amount that you find appropriate. Please go and do the best you can, because this is the kind of advocacy you do not see anywhere else. It's bold, it's fearless, and we take a Hindu centric stand on every single issue. Right, so that
Absolutely true. And thank you, Ajay bhai, for that pitch. And do come next Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. You will enjoy the gala. You will enjoy especially the reports that we are going to present in terms of what we have done. You'll enjoy the speeches. Vivek is a fantastic speaker. If you have not heard him before, Bob Lancia is a wonderful speaker. Zainab is a great speaker. And of course, Ajay bhai is a great speaker. And we will see you all next Sunday. And please donate to us. What you give us goes a long way in ensuring that we become your voice. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, and Utsada, as we close out the show, I am going to play one of the pre-recorded, musics, because there's some challenges at the decibel end, but we'll play one of the pre-recorded musics from decibel. Okay, uh, thank you again, everyone. Namaste. Thanks for joining, and we see you next week at the Hindu Pack Gala. Right? Namaste,
Namaste.
and please stay tuned as we play the final music.